They do end up sallying out in this situation, it would probably be better because then it would only be the militia left inside. And let's just disband these armies. These are 7-8 days away, these other companions. Let's get rid of them. We'll just do this on our own. It makes it more interesting anyways. They'll probably get captured on the way down here too. There's that. It'd be nice if they made their own army, but I won't complain. And you know what? If they don't sally out, we're going to heal a lot during the process of the siege camp. Let's start an episode right here. Welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. Welcome to our Javelin series here, covering tactics with version 1.31 of Bannerlord. We continue to explore the different tactical areas of Bannerlord to an exhausting level here, right? Some guys are probably looking for us to do new challenges, and this is a little bit of a new challenge for us as we're playing this campaign largely devoid of archers. We still have some archers. You can see we have 42 archers in our army. There's probably 60 or 70 in our total army, but we're going mostly with infantry and with Jav cavalry, right? We're using Aserai units, of course. This is a continuation of the Mercenary series, and this should be episode 2 of this series, where we're going to try very difficult things with our infantry-heavy, javelin-heavy army, and this is a good start, right? In fact, I thought they might sally out against us here. Okay, that dude is making an army. That's kind of nice to see. It's about time. We've got a couple, 3 other player clans, but we have no minor clans. And we, of course, we haven't convinced anybody to join us because this guy, Rage, R-A-A-J, has no charm ability whatsoever, right? This guy's got onion breath. He's a social moron. He embarrasses himself. He's like the guy from The Gods Must Be Crazy. Every situation he gets into with a woman, it's a complete disaster. Oi, 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 for the fans of that movie. You young kids who haven't seen it, you need to go see it. Go get it tonight. It's a classic. Great comedy. Just a lighthearted, wonderful movie from like my childhood, basically. Gods Must Be Crazy. All right, so we're going to siege here. The enemy has 4 catapults, and our siege skill is mediocre. The guy inside here is probably a lot more intelligent than our commander, but that's okay because we have Rage on our side, and more accurately, we have tons of javelins on our side. It's going to be interesting, nevertheless, right? This is not advisable for newer players to siege. Usually, you want the numbers to be reversed. You want to have 1,050 attackers for 480 defenders, not the other way around. Anybody will tell you, typically for siege, anything where you're outnumbered is going to be extremely difficult because the enemy has the advantage. They're behind walls. They've got archers hiding down there shooting you as you come up. You got to get onto the walls first to fight. And then, of course, they also have siege weapons. Now, we're going to try to destroy most of their siege weapons here. Their catapults, and the way to do it, just for new players, is to build these trebuchets and fire catapults. And as they're built, you got to put them in reserve. It's kind of a wonky process. Then, once they're all built, it's like you roll them into range, and they start obliterating the enemy counter siege. Now, depending on many, many different variables here, they will do okay. We're actually not doing too bad here, but I prefer that there was no catapults inside the cities. See, there's still 1 and 1 ballista. There we go. We just destroyed it, and 1 ballista. Let's freeze it right here. You can pause, and that catapult that they have built will not finish. So we have 3 trebuchets, a fire catapult, and half as many troops as the attacker. We attack, right? We're going to launch this invasion here, and we're going to have to use tactics. If you just F1, F3 this, or sergeants in charge, the enemy will bind you up on the ladders. They will smash you to pieces with huge waves of infantry supporting militia, or with supportive militia, and you will lose, right? Hopefully here, we can use tactics. We can use our incredible amount of javelins and use our brain. Then we will use our brawn. All right, our guys scream and yell. Change formation times 500. Now, they got a ballista, but I'm not worried about that, right? Those guys are usually highly vulnerable. We have 2 sets of ladders here. We did not build a siege tower, but that's okay. Now, I'm going to change some divisions. I don't want that 2nd division on the ram. Those guys are clearly high-level Ferris. We want their javelins on the field. Now, notice this. 83 units in this division. It says there's 13. This is a bug. When you have, sometimes in this situation, the AI doesn't know what to do with it when you have 60 archers on the field, right? So we're going to adapt, but we basically have almost no archers for this siege. Now we have 2 javelin divisions, right? Or let's see, we're going to make 2 javelin divisions. We've got 4 major infantry divisions. Now I still have to reassign somebody to the ram, and I better explain that process while I'm splitting these units up. You must assign players to the ram, otherwise they will drive the ram up to the gate, smash the outer gate, and then run off as if their job is done. You want to assign 20, 30, 40 guys to that ram. That way, after they destroy the outer wall, they attack the inner wall, right? So let's see here. Let's make an 8th division strictly for the ram, right? We can actually just remove the archers. We don't need archers for the ram. We'll put a decent captain on there, 30, 40, 50 guys. You would prefer they have shields, and then we'll click the ram. And what that does is, you see how it puts them right behind it? You can also put them in a shield wall. And those 30 guys now, they will do a decent job of getting through the gate. They don't always succeed, but I'm going to try to use most of our troops here on the left of the battlefield. I've got 4 infantry divisions to work with, and maybe we'll pull an archer division or 2 with us as well. Now, I also prefer shock troops and or legionnaire types to go up the ladders. Basically, we're going to send units up the ladders, right? 2 different divisions, and look at that. That's the 4th, right? The 4th division. Look at how many javelins are in there, right? 59 times 5, 280, something like that. 295, my brain says. Lots and lots of javelins, right? The 2nd division and the 4th division are going to be, they're quasi-archers, right? Because they're going to be so many javelins flying through the air. Now, we're going to micromanage them, right? At the beginning here, we're going to probably hold fire with at least a few of those divisions until it's obvious that there's a lot of targets. They'll throw all their javelins at 2 guys on the walls, and obviously the next thing you know, you're out of javelins. Reminds me of the Bane quote, right? You fight like a young man, nothing held back. Admirable, but foolish, right? We're going to use our brain here. We're not just going to impress the one lady that's watching this video by chucking every javelin at the wall. We are going to be intelligent, right? Gals like an intelligent guy too, because they realize once you're old and your muscles are gone, you're at least not a fucking stupid asshole that has no muscle. All right. Archers all over the walls here. We slipped in our 6 seconds of philosophy. Now we're going to start moving up our infantry. Of course, the archers are deadly accurate. It's a disadvantage not having a lot of archers, right? We've got maybe 20 archers here supporting us, but here come the throwing weapons. And that's not even our main divisions, right? That's just our extra in the 1st and 3rd division. So just so it's not confusing, the 1st and 3rd, we're going to charge. Get up the walls, boys. They roar and cheer. There's a javelin dipshit right here, but he looks vulnerable to me, right? As he goes... as he goes cartwheeling off into the distance. Let's get this 2nd division lined up in a huge shield wall. That way they have a little bit of protection. Archers behind them. You can fight your siege like an open field battle in some regards, right? The enemy's just more static. Now I'm holding fire here with the 2nd, but the 4th can be told to fire away, right? That way those guys going up the siege tower have a lot of support. I'm holding back the 2nd, right? I don't want to be guilty of that Bane quote from The Dark Knight, right? Anybody who's not familiar with that, that's from the last Dark Knight series. I think it's Dark Knight Rises, the 3rd one, I think is what it is. Anyways, it's a great quote, and it's applicable to both Life and Bannerlord. Now this guy, very inaccurate. We're going to censure him with a little bit of demerits, aka a javelin in the spine. Just like Bane, we're going to kill our allies here when they perform badly. And let's see how many enemy forces here we can immolate with our catapult. Right? It's nice to hit the walls because we just destroyed one of their little crenellation guards. Those little indentation tabs or whatever you want to call them. I think the historical term for that on cities and keeps is crenellation. And you can destroy them with your fire catapult. What that does, of course, is it makes the enemy on the wall visible to your archers and javelin throwers. Now, it's probably a good chance we're going to hit our own troops here at some point. I can't see that far, even though I got pretty good vision in a 4K monitor. You're probably watching this on a little tiny phone or something like that at a wedding you don't want to be at and can't see shit either. We're going to do our best here, and if we do lousy, we'll just get up there and command the troops. Your troops will always do better when you command them, if you know what you're doing, right? And that is the critical if. Now, here come dipshits. Look at these guys. I can see these guys as my horse runs off. I can see these guys running up, right? So we can hammer these guys here on the way over. There's a lot of enemies inside this city. If you remember, they had over 1,000. So we've got a lot of wood to chop here. Fortunately, I've got big forearms. I'm going to be able to chop some serious wood. Now that's a bad shot, right? We killed as many allied troops or more than enemies. There's a thick amount of troops up there though, so it's tempting, right? Because you can land a shot where it frees your men, where all of a sudden they just start rampaging through the city. This episode I'm not firing super terrifically. Talk about it all the time. You got full control over the catapult, how far the ball goes, and left and right. That's a decent shot. We cleared out a big wave of the enemy. And you could see, actually, our palace guards and shit rampaging on the walls. You can see them wailing up and down with their big executioner's axe. Another group of enemies, right? Let's scorch them. Right, broke their little crenellation. Only killed one guy. But our second division now can be told to fire, right? That's a lot of enemy troops coming over to try to stop us. Those guys now start unleashing javelins. And you can tell from the death spam that they are working. Oh shit, fuck. It looked like it was too low as soon as I took it. Oh well. Sometimes you're gonna hit your own troops. Fortunately, there's no penalty whatsoever, right? Nobody comes up to you afterwards and says, you're a horrible shot. Now the ram guys are working, right? And our troops, I can see them still rampaging on the walls. Let's get up here and actually command our troops. You guys are probably bored. We're gonna try to sweep through this city from the ground level, left to right. Got this second division. The fourth division is going up. Now these lazy bitches, you stupid assholes, right? We're going to rule with fear here. The AI still has a hard time getting ladders up, which tells you that Tail Worlds, you know, they need to invest in their AI department is, I guess, the nicest way I would say it. They've got to get more guys to work on the AI. I don't know how long that ladder was just laying on the ground, but obviously having one ladder instead of two, and you as the commander having to do it represents some sort of failure, right? That can't really be the case. And honestly, that's been the case for like a year or two, right? They just don't consistently seem to get the ladders up. That you would think that would be automated, that the troops nearby, and enjoy some javelin throws here as we launch guys all over the place. This is high-end javelin skill. If you've never seen it before, it's basically the most fun you can have without getting someone pregnant. Bodies go flying everywhere, and you just obliterate the enemy. Now it goes right through shields as well because of that incredibly powerful tier 5 perk. It's you get at 250 thrown. Of course, it takes a while to get there, but once you get there, let the fun begin. Yeah, these motherfuckers. The enemy's really trying to stop us here, something fierce. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the other ladders, they've completely failed to put them up as well. And so here's where all the action is. I'm running low on javelins, but we're having fun doing it. Little punk-ass militia swinging their little blacksmith hammer at me. I'm going to inflict some pain to some of these bitches. Some of these guys I think will beat to death with our fingers here. You can actually punch militia to death now pretty easily. You do. I've done 15 damage before swinging my fists, which is kind of interesting. Unarmed combat in Mountain Blade Bannerlord. Let's see what we can do here. There's a volunteer here coming up. This little bitch-ass guy trying to shoot me. Let's beat the shit out of him. 9. Yeah, see, we're doing good damage here. And he's grunting and grunting as we beat the shit out of this guy. No, let me get the kill. It would be nice if there was, you know, a perk that was unarmed combat and eventually you're blasting guys with roundhouse punches. I don't see why not, right? Definitively, true hand-to-hand was part of actual battle. In rare instances, right, you might club a guy with your shield and your sword hand falls because you get hit, and then you just punch the guy and drive in with your dagger or something. It would be a nice added aspect if you could clobber guys. I mean, you can kick them. Why not punch, right? So it'd be nice if you had the ability. I'm not talking Shaolin monks, you know, karate kicking guys across the battle map. I'm talking just, it'd be nice if you could do 20 damage with punches, or 30 if you worked up your skill, where you could literally beat your opponent to death. Alright, so we've got skirmishers now down in the courtyard. The 4th Division and the 1st Division is on the walls attacking them, so we've got troops hitting them with broadsides. And the enemy, of course, predictably is freaked out. Their militia, they're running all over the place and shit like that as our troops steamroll the city here. Now, we show tactics on the channel. This is one of the parts that I don't think people really understand. You can micromanage your troops quite a bit in City Assault, and it's a lot of fun, right? We're just dragging our forces literally through the alleys of this city. I see complaints like that sometimes. They're like, man, I wish you could fight in the alleyways in Bannerlord like you can in Total War. Well, you can. You just need to know what you're doing, right? What we're basically doing here is a 2-pronged assault. It's actually 3-pronged if you count the main gate. but we're barreling across the, the ramparts up top now. Now we're like in the back alleys here, and we're going to come in behind the enemies. I think this is the front gate right here. So we'll start spreading troops out here. We need to make sure we have a lot of troops because there's going to be a lot of defenders. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they got hundreds here. Let's try to get archers quickly on a flank here, protected by skirmishers and an infantry division. A lot of these are weak troops, so we can blast them with javelins. Guy didn't know what hit him. He's just trucked across the screen. That guy headshot for 1,000. At least it'd be painless. You'd be killed instantly by that kind of throw. All right, so we got ourselves a royal scrum here as our infantry pour in. I've got a handful of guys here just throwing javelins, which is nice because they're not real accurate, and so it's kind of a good way for you to refill your javelins. There's a shit ton of troops pushing our way here. We might be in trouble. If you start to get overrun, the best thing to do is to pull back. Right here, I think we're going to duke it out. I'm going to target the heavies. That way, anybody who's a real threat to our army gets a javelin in the face. I've got archer support over there. I just looked at the power bar, though. We've got this battle, right? The enemy's reeling here. Now, they're making a vigorous defense here with their militia and what's left of their guys at the gate, but I don't think it's going to save them. A lot of their troops are running. Maybe they saw that guy get hit in the head by a javelin and did a cartwheel. That might make me run. You realize your death might be imminent, right? Oh, shit. That wing just fucking faded. We don't have very many troops left here. This is mostly enemy troops. We got guys coming down from the walls, though, so I'm not going to give up yet. We got a couple guys here. Fight, men! Charge! And this is a nice, good battle for this. This will be episode 2. Should be episode 2. We will tie together 2, 3, 4 battles. This campaign is not going to be like a normal campaign where I show you every single strategic detail. There might be a week in between battles. That is because we're going to focus on tactics and what is possible in Bannerlord. We're going to be focused on unique or challenging situations here. Let's open the door here and let all our forces pour through the city, sweep through the city, taking what they want and setting fire to the rest, you sons of bitches. To hell with you. And apart from a last few infantry here trying to collect the bounty on rage, this siege is over. And a pretty successful and thrilling siege. You know, this is a lot of fun for me. Incidentally, this is about as hard of a siege as you can take with the force that we had. Why? Because otherwise they will sally out. In other words, you can definitely fight an open field battle outnumbered 10-1, right? The enemy will oblige you. If you have 300 troops, you'll fight 3,000. There'll be scenarios like that. However, if you siege a city with 3,000, you can't actually siege it. What? Sorry, dude, you look like the enemy. What'll happen basically is the enemy, as soon as you begin the siege, they will sally out on you and attack you. If you don't get attacked before then, they won't let you siege with 300. The most I've ever done is outnumbered about 4.5-1. So here, 2.5-1 or 2-1, and we made these bitches retreat to the keep. Rage did some significant work as predicted, but our companions got a few kills. They're going to continue leveling, and hopefully in this series we can get a few of these companions to 250 throwing, because then the real fun begins, right? We'll give them 3 bags of extra large javelins, right? So they have like 40 javelins, and they, just like our main character, can throw it right through shields. That'll be a lot of fun. Long term, there's a possibility that this campaign turns into a future campaign where we use companions, because it's hard to level throwing skill. It takes time, right? We're spending some time already going through the steps here, but once you get there, boy, the fun begins, right? Now, we want to keep an archer too. Now that gal's completely loaded with 2 bags of legendary arrows. I'm not really too worried about a garrison here, because I'm going to take another castle or 2 from the Aserai and then dictate peace. We're basically going to have peace. At this stage, the Aserai in this campaign are utterly rocked and reeling. I mean, they look like one of Mike Tyson's opponents in the mid-'80s, where they're just getting uppercut at the back of the ring. You know, his opponents were 29-0, and then he knocks them out in 36 seconds, and they look like a bitch. That's what the Aserai looks like in the campaign, right? They look disheveled. They look like Pinklin Thomas after Mike Tyson trucked him in the first round and then knocked him out in the 7th. So distribute a few troops to a companion here. I don't really want to show you a lot of this, so at any point, actually, we'll just do that shit right now. We're going to go siege another castle or two. It's not going to be worthy of your time. So we're going to collect a little bit of gear here, spread around our troops a little bit, and do some fancy editing. Sell some grain. I can tell you this part, right? We're dumping a bunch of grain and fish here. That way the prosperity of the city rises. At some point or other, the Aserai, even after we dictate peace, they'll backstab us, right? They will say war. And at least this city will have a nice garrison and militia in it to defend. We probably won't make it to Vostrum. That's okay. You know, it'll be action up there no matter what. So now that we've secured the west, took 2 castles, we'll just pick up narration right here. Vostrum is under siege, so we're gonna drop by Razi, pick up some reinforcements here. Trade agreement, I guess. I don't give a shit. Doesn't really matter for this campaign. Presumably you make more money through tariffs and stuff like that, right? Trade agreements, I guess the opposite of where the United States is trending. We're telling all our trade allies to go eat shit. Now we're gonna head to Vostrum, but it's probably going to fall before we get there. We've got a long haul. Our army is pretty stacked. I don't know that we need more troops here. We can see if there's better quality troops, a bunch of recruits. You know, obviously, if we're going to operate a smaller army with no clan help at all, really no minor clan help, we haven't picked up any vassals from other kingdoms. That's the way a lot of people play Bannerlord, and I just don't do that, right? I'm just not interested in charming the socks off my enemies. We're just going to blow their socks off on the battlefield. It's a perfectly viable option, right? You can go out and recruit, basically pay clans to join you, and look at that ratio of archers to infantry. That's great. We've got it up to 6-to-1. Just infantry versus archers, and we're going to continue to push in that direction. Now, I'm not beautiful. It's about time. I was going to say I'm not worried about it being perfect. Well, this usually happens once you've gotten deep enough into a campaign. You get some really nice gear that starts to show up in the cities. Usually your tier 6 armor is kind of tied to being clan tier 5 or clan tier 6, right? Those things go sort of hand in hand. That's why you usually don't see super high-end armor early in a campaign. So Rage here is now finally protected. He's got a really nice gleaming set of armor. His beard is sticking out of the bottom of his helm. He looks pretty badass. And this, of course, is one of the benefits of smashing our way through the enemy. You can charm your friends off and, you know, pay a bunch of money to have, you know, more people join your kingdom. I would rather just beat their ass, take their lunch money, and then sell all their shit. Take the stuff that we stole from them at lunch hour, sell it on eBay, collect a bunch of money, still buy the armor. And I don't know if you saw that, but we just bought that armor basically for trinkets. We just dumped all our trinkets in. Usually I don't show you guys that, but that was pretty quick, right? So one of the other many advantages of dominating in combat is you're rich, right? You're rich. You can buy whatever gear you want. You're getting all kinds of shit that drops that's legendary because you're fighting the battles a lot of players aren't bothering, right? They either can't, it's too intimidating, or they have too much time in between battles because they suffer Pyrrhic victories where 3/4 of their army is injured or killed. We're going to do things highly efficiently. Now, I forgot about this. It happened so long ago and we got so little out of it. I think we hemorrhaged 600,000 for that. It's kind of a good example of the faulty system, or we'll call it suboptimal. We were very briefly in an alliance against the Aserai. Now, the Sturgeons were incredibly far from the Aserai, so it probably didn't make sense. I just clicked the button and away went our money. Now, it looks like we're just barely going to fail to get there. It just fell. So we're going to ambush whatever comes out of it, right? There was Southern Empire scum. Hopefully they still have a good-sized force for us to round up and, you know, they can be the proverbial guy in the background of the Michael Jordan dunk here for the episode. Now it's almost too small for us to fight, but we still want to destroy it. And I've been narrating, so let's go ahead. You know what? Let's try to show an efficient destruction of a smaller army. What I was just talking about, and this other army is going to help us trap this guy. He's sort of scurrying and wetting the bed here, running towards his castle. And this other army, it's beautiful. They're right there. They're basically going to prevent him from getting in the castle, or at least they might. These little armies now run. They get afraid of big armies, and instead of helping you pin them down, look at this. He's running from Baranor party,
You know what.
even though I'm right here. Come and help me, dude. I need your help. The old way was better. They would just engage right there. I gotta say, that's a non-improvement. All right, so this enemy is likely to hide at the back of the map, right? Let's show this one more time here. We've got a stacked army. We've got all kinds of high-end troops, and we're healthy, right? We haven't had a battle in a week, but when we do have battles, the casualty rate's so low, I don't even worry about it, right? We know we're going into battle with good troops, mostly healthy. And let's have a goal for this battle. Let's have 50 or less casualties against 600 troops. I think that's still possible. I didn't even see what they have for army makeup. It doesn't matter, right? We're just going to smash it anyways. And we'll try to, as usual, we'll try to illustrate kind of what we're doing and add basically tools to your tactical tool bag. Fourth, we've got this new companion. You can see she's got single digits and a bunch of stats. You know, you're going to have characters like that. She's a engineer. Eventually, we'll turn her into a clan leader. We'll work on her infantry skills a little bit. And look at this division. That's literally 100 tier 5 shock troops. Our army is now juggernaut. And you don't need fiends to roll through the map. Obviously, if you have good units, and obviously we do, and tactics, Bannerlord just comes and kneels before you, right? We at this stage with an army of 700, there's virtually no army in the game that can handle this army. It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, the enemy, develops some large forces and gives us a challenge here. I might even have to stall intentionally. I've talked about that before, and just let 3 or 4 years pass and let the AI sort of catch up, right? It's like we're speaking 5th grade or 5-year Spanish in high school and nobody else can hablo español. Solamente yo hablo español y nada más. Nunca gentes otra vez, something like that. Yeah. Anyways, the AI is really far behind us in a number of different areas, but the most glaring part is their armies, right? Their armies are decent, but they're just not comparable to ours. Ours is just a juggernaut force. And we have garrisons all over the place, piled with good troops at this stage. All right, so let's surround them. I don't know if you can see what they're doing. They're in defeat formation, the classic ring. They're downhill, too. It would actually be worse or hard for the enemy to be in a worse position than they are right now. They're downhill in a ring, which means all of the shields ostensibly protecting their archers are worthless because we can just shoot and throw javelins right over the top of them. So this will be quick. We are still going to try to fight this and try to be efficient. What we're going to do here is just spread around troops all around it, right? So we're going to have basically units dumping javelins in every side. The 9th Division is assigned to destroy these horse archers. That's me. We're going to kill these guys here from their blind side and just go through assassinating them, knocking them off their horses. Their lord went flying and her shield went further than her body. She's crumpled up on the ground. All right, so first, 4th, 6th, those 3 divisions are archers, or excuse me, infantry that can throw javelins. We do have a few archers shooting uphill there. We are going to move in the 2nd and 3rd division. Shield and shock, that's cavalry with those 100 shock troops. We're gaining levels, we're killing bitches, and let the games begin here. Now we have this huge 8th division. That's almost all Vanguard Ferris, so it's like 100 Vanguard Ferris. Our army is OP. That's all there is to it. I guess we could start running around with a shrunken army, but I don't actually know what to do as far as a challenge at this stage. We got to do something to have a bigger challenge here, and there aren't some of the traditional mods that we've used, like the Strength and AI mod. Right? This enemy is going to break. It's basically built into the AI, and it makes logical sense. If the AI is being throttled after it's trying some kind of tactic, it should adjust. The problem is it's predictable, and it's going to allow us to weaken it before it even charges in the first place. They would have been better off F1, F3. Instead, we're going to seriously wound them, turn them all into porcupines here, fill them full of javelins. You see our guys just dumping javelins. We can counter their cav charge over there with our 8th Corps. That'll be ugly. Bunch of equite charging our Vanguard Ferris. The 4th Corps here is in reserve, right? I want to have at least 1 infantry division ready to dump javelins when they charge. They look like they're getting ready. Here they come. They're starting to break. The 8th Corps can be told to charge, which will have them circle the enemy. Over there, that's the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We'll kite a little bit so that the enemy gets pounded additionally here. It's like a bad porn movie. We're going to pound them in many different positions. And they're trudging up the hill here into absolutely shattering javelin fire. The 6th Corps is kiting. The 8th Corps comes in behind here. The 2nd and 3rd are on the other sside. Now the 6th Corps can be brought in as well. And they're completely surrounded. And and now everything dies, right? We'll throw that in here at the end. Look at their archers scurrying around looking for safety, and they're kiting right into a division of elite infantry that charges and yells, yeah! We might not suffer any casualties in this battle. There's one. This might be one of those battles where you have like 2 casualties. There's another one. Where are their reinforcements? Oh, their reinforcements just popped out in a big glob on our weakest division down there. So we are going to suffer injuries here just as they came out of the ground. The recruits here had a trap plan for our divisions, popped out of the ground on us, and it's still not really going to help them much here. So recognize this is not a challenge, right? It's not really highly entertaining, but hopefully that process is educational, right? If you're dealing with an enemy that's in a circle, hopefully that gives you all you need to know how to destroy it. Circle it, pound it at range. What you don't want to do is charge cavalry into it. That's the worst thing you could do, and that's your result here. I was aiming for 50. That's a lot better. 29 casualties, and we still got a ton of upgrades. What's amazing is this army is getting stronger still, so it's, we're back on absurd level. Take a bunch of Southern Empire forces here captive, and I am considering stalling. I think that makes the most sense. We could also just run around with like our own army and maybe one other, so that we have 400 troops. Until we're outnumbered 3, 4, 5 to 1, I don't think this army is really going to be challenged much. It's a little bit like Mike Tyson when he was blasting his way through and his opponents came in, but it was a weak period internationally for boxing. Most of the people that Tyson fought his first couple of years had no business fighting Mike Tyson. A classic example for you guys that don't know anything about it. He fought a guy named Michael Spinks, who was like an incredible boxer, but he was kind of a light middleweight. He was like 210 pounds. He was kind of stringy strong, and Mike Tyson was a complete bull and obliterated the guy. So let's do another one of these just to create some interest in this campaign here. We'll have an alliance with the Northern Empire. I just assume crinkle that paper up though and chuck it in the garbage, because I don't know that we need it here, right? We're steamrolling, and it's interesting. There is a series of other alliances that have been formed to sort of deal with that, right? Regea went out immediately and sought some help, and she's going to need it, right? Speaking of alliances and stuff like that, in case 1%, 0.1%, Tail Worlds is listening, you know what we need? When you start rolling through a map like this, the AI should perceive you as a Napoleon-like threat from 1810, 1812, and the whole map should declare war on you until you're punched back into a corner, right? Or at least on the hardest difficulty, there should be something like that, right? Because otherwise, we're just flattening everything, and every town they bring the keys out as soon as you arrive at the gates. They should just, here you go, it's your town, right? Because obviously this town cannot defend. I mean, 1,000 we blasted through with 500. How do you think it's going to go where we outnumber them 800? In fact, we'll almost certainly edit this battle right out of it. You don't really know what you're facing with the Khazate, right? And it's very hard with the new system, actually, to tell the strength of the enemy army. I think that's accidental, but in some ways it's good because you're not sure if they have 300 Khans guards or 100. But now we have almost as many troops. Then we're outnumbered by about 80. Let's go take a look at their army here. And if it's clear based on like the power bar that we're just going to crush them, or maybe the garrison sallies out, then I'll just simply dump a companion, right? And we'll head on in with 700 instead, or 600 instead. But I want to battle against the Khazate. In fact, 20, 35. I'm doing a calculate. Oh shit! I was going to say we should be able to fit all these episodes into episode 2. All these battles, but never mind. Another army of Khazate just joined, and suddenly I wish I had more troops. In fact, let's see. We've got some good high-end troops, but we're still leveling. Yeah, we're still leveling a bunch of the gunk at the bottom here. We've got a ton of prisoners to recruit. I haven't been recruiting them, and let's pick up a few here for this battle. I don't actually know if this battle is going to be extremely hard, really hard, or easy, because you can't really tell, right? It's 1,400-ish Khazate. It's a lot, and we outnumbered almost 2 to 1. And good, right? The power bar shows you it's going to be a good battle, a hard battle. And it's so hard to see what they have. They have a good amount of archers. I see some higher end archers. Infantry, they actually have quite a bit of infantry, heavy horse archers, heavy cavalry. It looks like a mixed army, right? So they're going to outnumber us pretty much in every area except infantry, right? Our army is 70-80% infantry. We've got our decreased range taken banners. And this is probably the hardest battle for an infantry heavy army. I know everybody's like, oh, just make shield walls with the sturgeons. It's not that easy because the Khazate will have 2 quivers of arrows. Now this battlefield here is good and bad. It's a huge battlefield. This is one of the biggest battlefields in the game. It must be 500 yards across, which is optimized for horse archers. But this little ridge here, if they come at us, which they often do, and the enemy outnumbers you dramatically, a lot of times they act like John Goodman and the Big Lebowski, where they're like, fuck you, come and get it, right there. They're probably going to barrel at us here, and that'll play into our strategy. If we had to charge them, the biggest problem is it would be a long ways away from our reinforcement spot. So hopefully they come at us here. We'll take cover at first. We'll set up some defensive lines and then kind of see what it looks like. Now I'm still getting archers and infantry mixed in the 4th and 5th, but it looks good now. That gal, there was a skirmisher in there. What is that? What am I looking at here? 4th, 5th. Who is that? Who's in there? Probably her. Let's just put her in the 6th. It doesn't matter too much. We have our 4 infantry divisions, right? 1st, 4th, and 6th are defensive shield skirmishers. Even these divisions out. That's the bulk of the defense for the army. And then this 3rd division, there's about 30 or 40 shock troops, right? So palace guards, some Anavliatons. Most of those guys are tier 5, which is going to help because we're going to get shot full of arrows in this battle, right? There's going to be horse archers running everywhere. It's almost impossible to control them with this wide open space. This battlefield, like I said, definitely favors the Khazate. And I remember this battlefield, actually, we had an incredible, probably the best battle I've ever fought was in the Aserai campaign, the epic Aserai campaign against the Khazate right here. And I'm not going to tell you the results. It's one of the most amazing battles that I've ever heard or seen. And of course, fans of the Aserai channel know exactly what I'm talking about. It reminds me, actually, I might even make like a best 5 list. The most 5 interesting battles, epic battles I've ever been in, and make a little playlist. You guys can leave your feedback. Now, first things first, we got to see if they're coming at us here, but we've got a nice little defensive posture. We've got some defensive squares or future squares we can put in shield walls for now so they can chuck javelins. We'll hold fire with the 1st, 4th, 6th, and 8th. Those are our main javelin divisions. And they are coming this way, right? So let's bait them. Let's make sure they come in hot and heavy. Let's give them an archer division and a cavalry division to chase because I want them coming in reckless, right? A lot of times you can get enemy cavalry especially to go ballistic, foaming at the mouth, chasing archers right into the jaws of our trap. Yeah, tons of horse archers. And like I said, this battlefield is so wide with so few archers. I mean, the real answer to horse archers is archers. Obviously, we don't have them. You can hold your shield up all day. Eventually, you get killed. Archers are so accurate now in 1.31. Javelins will do some good work. We're going to be able to use our 8th and 2nd divisions to good effect. Right, we're going to initially bring in our 8th Corps here and basically force the horse archers away while our archer division shoots them. Then we will counter, we'll do basically a teeter-totting opposite attack here, right? As the 8th Corps retreats, we'll have the 2nd push in and vice versa. And basically trying to sort of juggle all these horse archers, keep them off balance, and kill them as we force them kind of in and out of the formation here. Here comes our 8th Corps behind me. Okay, they're already reeling back. Let's pull the 2nd and 5th back. But if these horse archers turn, we'll bring our 8th Corps up right in their face. Right? It's very likely that they're going to pursue. Horse archers act like that little yapping dog at the end of your street that barks all the time. And if you don't look, if you're not paying any attention, it comes roaring out, yapping at you. And then as soon as you turn your face to it or your wrath on it, it runs and whimpers and hides behind its owners. That's how horse archers operate, generally very defensive. So that's going to actually do just fine. Our Jav guys are right in the midst of the horse archers. They'll do pretty good work in there. I expect to see some death spam out of that. But we still have to get our 8th Corps out of there because those guys are going to get surrounded. We're badly outnumbered. Now that the enemy force is pulling back, right now is where you want to get your troops out of there. It's a little bit of a dance. And net, what that did is it bought us a little bit of time. It sort of broke up their units, and it did cause their cavalry just to charge right in here and get skewered by our infantry and skirmishers. 2nd Division comes up to give them a beating. We'll bring the 8th Division around in a counterclockwise maneuver here. And once the enemy gets in here, you could really argue F1, F3. The biggest key is their archers are somewhat mitigated. We've got their enemy sort of compacted. Look at their cav is coming right into the teeth of our infantry. We like that. The death spam suddenly looks terrific. Let's bring the 8th Corps in here to make it even better. All the infantry gets unleashed. That's good death spam, considering we're badly outnumbered against horse archers. Bring the 8th Corps in here and watch this fucking volley. Have some javelins, you bitches. Just drills the shit out of all these horse archers. Hit them again, boys. Give them a volley. Right, just fucking asshole horse archers. Kill that guy in particular. Attacking their commander. Now, they work good defensively, right? We can just push that 8th Division against the enemy horse archers there while the rest of our forces attack theirs. There's a ton of infantry coming in. So it's about to get really bloody. And, you know, there'll be tactical moves after that, but a lot of it now is just chaos, right? Managing reinforcements, trying to get forces into propitious positions and not getting killed, right? My character does not do good damage, as exhibited by the 15 point. Sword slash, 15, that's pretty embarrassing. 22, we're doing some damage now, 59. There's a Consguard here, he probably one-shot me. Fuck you, Consguard. Kill this guy. There it goes. 26. Eat shit, Consguard. And we blew out most of that first infantry volley there. Most of that first infantry wave. Now, the horse archers are everywhere, and this is their strength. It's chaos. They're spread all over the place. You can't manage this, right? This is like taking your 12 kids, your 12 special needs kids to the park. You open the car door, the van door. They pour out and run all different directions. You're gonna lose some kids, right? It's just, it's not a thing. You need like leashes or something like that, or you're fucked. Something like that actually happened to me at one point. See, there's not going to be time in this battle, but maybe I'll tell you guys some funny stories. All right, well, it's chaos. We got archers kind of shooting at horse archers here. When we get reinforcements, we'll try to use them intelligently here, but there's no tactics for this shit, right? There's a couple of infantry blocks here holding. We're holding a little defensive front with the square here to absorb some attention. Enemy forces are pouring in. There's horse archers fucking everywhere. It's like a cheap motel. There's just roaches scattering all over. And anytime they come over that ridge, we're going to charge with those 2 infantry divisions. Get these archers kind of tucked against the wall here. I've got a half a health bar, but man, does this character he just craters to the earth. I've never had such a delicate character. Can't really explain it. Maybe I have the wrong perks. Some episodes, you know, especially like the Botanian series, my character feels invulnerable to damage. But in this campaign, this guy Rage, he just craters to the earth. And we've got, you know, decreased taken banners and shit like that. Now, here's the reinforcements I was talking about. So what are we going to do here, right? We're getting strafed the whole time by archers. They put our reinforcements in a bad position. But what we can do here is bring the 8th Corps over. At least our archers are sort of countering their archers. Our infantry charges in. But I don't know if you saw, I moved all of our cavalry basically right to the edge of the hill there to sort of try to trap whatever forces are left behind here. Congest the area, kill a bunch of their cavalry, and now we're going to get our archers consolidated. So I've got a line of cavalry just sort of screening the enemy, facing the archers that were chasing our guys there, and we're going to move our archers into a better spot. But it's still chaos. I tell you, got this brilliant strategy. You know, you're just trying to not get killed here. Got guys chasing me, it's carnage. And I've got a feeble character, right? Once this guy dumps his javelins, he's pretty feeble. That's the bottom line. I guess we could put him on as a foot troop, right? We can put him down with his men. He's probably pretty decent as a foot guy, but he doesn't have any weapon for a horse. He doesn't have like a big wicked glaive or something like that. You know, I'm used to having characters like that, and this guy's so feeble. I mean, I'm killing guys now, but most of the time it's just ineptitude. 18 damage. Die. Alright, so we've got an archer line there that's just spraying the enemy as they come around that ridge. It's a bit of a peekaboo ridge, right? This is a different kind. This is a blind flank. The enemy comes around that, and it's hello. Here comes a bunch of archers shooting him in the face. It works very well, right? So we want to suck them in. We can do that by making a square of infantry back here. As the enemy comes around that bend, they have one choice, basically. They can't chase the archers. They're too far away. They get shot the whole time. Meanwhile, this infantry division is like their closest target. So as they come up to it, they get shot. And we can also give them horse archers to deal with here. And I think it is appropriate, right? Oh, we got reinforcements coming here, but I'm going to join our lines here. I've got half a health bar. This guy's not terrible on foot. I mean, he can kill. Reinforcements are getting into position, and all we want to do here is hold this line against the wall, right? With infantry, we want to have horse archers and archers off to our side. That way they got flanking fire on us. And then every time we get infantry reinforcements, I'm going to bring them in, or cav reinforcements, and basically call them to us, so our forces are concentrated. Oh, fuckers, I see you coming, slow-mo. I got my slow-mo shield up, bitches. Now the infantry, look at where it's putting them. It's putting them, our infantry, in the worst spot. Basically, across the valley almost. That's exactly where I don't want our troops, but it is what it is, right? You guys deal with it. We deal with it. At least we have some horse archers here. I'm getting banged around like a bitch. Let's charge at this infantry here. These guys were in a square. Charge. We've got a lot of cavalry here to blow all these forces out and then reestablish the ridge. But I want those infantry and archers over here, and they're way across the valley. The best thing to do is triangulate them, right? Send them kind of off to that direction. That way our forces that are pushing forward here can intercept the forces chasing them. Hopefully that makes sense. Got a bunch of cavalry, got a bunch of horse archers. We got a bunch of camelry, actually. There's a bunch of camels in this battle. It's sort of eerily reminiscent of the epic battle we had against the Khazate. If you haven't seen it, search for Blinding Sunrise. I think that's the episode name. Trust me, it's about halfway through the video. I think it's the best battle you'll ever see in Bannerlord. It is unbelievable. Kill some fucking... These fuckers with the mace, man. Oh, you fucking asshole. Almost as Exhibit A. Well, when you take over a new character, charge, right? Your units will do all kinds of dumb shit with the RTS mod. You just gotta charge, right? And then you can reestablish your lines. God, this character, I can't keep him alive through one battle. I need like Baron York or Ryland or somebody else. It's incredible what a weak bitch he is. We got him some good armor too. We just spent $500,000 on some nice armor, and he still goes down like that fucking college chick that was desperate. I better not go there. You guys don't need to know all the the lurid details of my life. All right, in we go here. There's all kinds of infantry coming up with little raggedy Santa hats. I like the makeup of this, right? The enemy reinforcements are coming in as sort of filtered broken lines here. They do have a bunch of archers pumping up, but we actually have a fair bit of archers at the back end of our army, right? We started this battle with about a 1/6 or 1/7 of our force was archers. I'd say it's a quarter of it now is archers. We've got it like an evenly mixed army, and even though this is ostensibly a javelin campaign, in this battle here, I'm welcoming it, right? We could easily lose this battle still. It's nice to have some archers here. The bottom line, and you guys all know I believe this, is archers are the strongest troops in Bannerlord. By doing this campaign, what we're essentially doing is handicapping ourselves. So it's kind of nice to have 132 archers here. Even if they're lower level, they're still just wasting everything in sight. And this battle is ours. I just looked at the power bar. We've got full, strong divisions. We've got some cavalry attacking them, and the enemy has weak troops. So beautiful, right? 3 for 3 so far in this series. These battles are far separated, but we'll do some editing so it's seamless for you guys. These battles probably happened over a month and a half of this campaign. I'm going to continue doing that because you guys don't need to see us fight the same battle 4 times in a row, and you don't want us to see us fight the same type of army over and over again, right? You're gonna have maybe 5 episodes in this series here, and we'll try to cover a wide variety of situations. That way, it's fresh, entertaining, and just like any good content producer, I keep you guys coming back for more. Right, come get some, you little Vigla recruits, as we pound our enemy into the night. Just like that desperate college girl. No, I better not go there. Pound him into... Away they go here, and I think we'll wrap up this episode. I'm actually going to start our... well, let's wait until the results, I guess. I was going to say, we'll start our spiel here. If you watched to this stage, I appreciate your support for the channel, folks. We have a Patreon. We have exclusive content on there. Patreon supporters have a very high priority when it comes to having their situation solved for the Disaster of War series or asking questions on Patreon. I'm very responsive there. Of course, they're the direct supporters for the channel. Now, this gal here is like a god. Terraloon the Swift, every battle. It's unbelievable. I need her armor. I'm going to go take her equipment because she never dies. And our infantry didn't do bad, right? It actually, I guess against horse archers, you'll take a 2-to-1 kill ratio. The palace guards kind of got whipped, but nobody's surprised that horse archers shot shock troops to death. And we'll take it. You know, better than a 2-to-1 kill ratio against a much larger force. That is success, especially considering that we're handicapping ourselves with a lack of archers. So it wasn't pretty, maybe. Wasn't easy to follow, perhaps, as well. But hopefully that was either entertaining, educating, or something in between. We're still not taking prisoners. You just don't care about money. In most campaigns, when you win battles every other day, money becomes no object. I guess we could pick up a few prisoners here. We've got a bunch of prisoners to recruit. I think we'll pick some up. And this campaign has been unbelievable. The enemy is very weak. We have technically an ally right now. We're allied with the Northern Empire. But on top of that, we haven't really lost a significant battle. And it's just been sort of an unabated stampeding of the map. I mean, we have like 12 cities. We went independent like 3 or 4 hours ago, and it's just been, well, yeah. We got some experience in Bannerlord at this stage. It's starting to get kind of easy. So, if you want to see more from this easy campaign, we are going to challenge ourselves in this series. In fact, there's a chance I time warp this series, right? I might just take 2 years off, hoping that our enemy gets bigger and more powerful forces, because right now it's borderline not a challenge. So if you want to leave feedback on that, of course, please do. Let me know what you think of this series. If you want to see more, now's your chance to subscribe. On the way out, please hit that like button. I appreciate any time you guys are willing to do that for the channel. And with all that said, I will see you folks next time.